President Biden's problems at the border are about to get a lot worse. So right now, the largest migrant caravan in over a year is marching right towards the United States. It is said to be up to 7,000 people strong. One of the organizers of the caravan is speaking out, and he says President Biden should have seen it coming.
Joe Biden administration has lost the ball, has lost the power, and America has not been paying attention to what's happening. Every country has been just providing the rights, charging them $20, $30, or $40, and then just pushing them in, all the way to the Mexican border. Where's the American intelligence? Don't they know that all the countries are conspiring against the United States to make sure they have this crisis?
I'm confused. He's the organizer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this happening as Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas refuses to say how many illegal immigrants have been released into the country.
How many people has this administration led into the country?
Let me say at the outset that our job would be a lot easier if the broken immigration system was
No,
fixed.
Mr. Secretary, I want a number. How many people have you led into this country?
I should also
okay,
comment.
I'll give you the number. It's about 6 million. About 1.7 million as known gotaways. Where are all these people residing? Where did the 6 million people go?
Senator, you speak of encounters, and let me share
would you answer my questions? Where did these 6 million people go? Are you keeping track of them?
When an individual is indeed released, they are released into immigration enforcement proceedings.
Kellyanne, a border crisis and disaster of this magnitude would be the biggest problem for any administration, but for the Biden administration, it's like the fourth biggest crisis that are on their plates right now.
And this is true chaos and crisis, not just in a tweet or in the press briefing room. This is real. And you have a Homeland Security Secretary who's probably been under oath a dozen times or more testifying to Congress, who can never answer these questions because he's not willing to answer them truthfully, so he doesn't answer them at all. He doesn't know how many people, he doesn't know who they are, how many they are, where they are, why they're here, if they'll ever stop coming. And it is the #1 disapproval rating for Joe Biden on any major issue is border security and immigration. And I think it's been super smart for this issue to not just be seen about immigration, but also border security, because there are lots of people who don't want to talk about immigration. They say it's about people. You get so many more young people, voters of color, suburban women on your side when you talk about border security, because there they see you're trying to stop the fentanyl, #1 killer of 18 to 45-year-olds in our nation. This is about national sovereignty. People in this country know, Dana, we have spent billions of dollars over decades defending the borders of other countries, and they think it's high time we do it here. The Siena College poll that came out here in New York, I thought was just eye-popping a week before last or last week. What did it say? Well, it said we have tripartisan agreement in New York, of all places. A majority of Democrats, a majority of Republicans, a majority of independents all say that, quote, the migrants in New York is a serious problem, 8 in 10 overall. Downstate, upstate, male, female, Catholics, majority of Jewish people in New York, everybody agrees this is a problem. And they say they agree with Eric Adams that is going to, quote, destroy New York City. Now, that's in New York, where Joe Biden's under 50% against Donald Trump, a state he won massively. This is the issue that also France is dealing with now, Germany. The Swiss just elected someone who is running on this. So it's everywhere. And I think if you're losing people in New York who are living with it every single day, it tells you something about the rest of the nation.
Well, Harold, to that point, the 9 million, so the cost of Biden's border crosses, not just 9 million. So New York spending $2 billion. Chicago has put $150 million aside. Denver, $24 million aside. And then Joe Borelli, who's on the city council here in New York, he said, we are spending more per migrant per year to live in New York City than we pay New York City employees who have to live in New York City. It feels untenable, but are they doing anything about it?
Not enough. I think Senator Johnson, whom I don't agree with all of the time, he was right to ask that question of the secretary. This is a national security challenge. It has been from the outset and only proliferates as one in light of some of the things that Kellyanne has laid out and we have eloquently talked about on this show for a long time. As we talk about polling, when you look, there are 3 or 4 things that confound me in politics and polling today. One is, if you poll most Americans and parents, and I am one, you say, do you want to regulate big tech companies to help them not offer these dangerous algorithms to kids that make young girls and young boys do things they shouldn't? 90%, 9 to 1. You ask people, should we have some should we fight crime and end this cashless bail? 8-1, people say we should absolutely do it because it's going to help us hold more people accountable. If you ask us what we should do with guns, 8-1, people want to make sure some people can't have guns who are mentally unfit to have them. In this issue here, to your point, Kellyanne, there is no doubt it cuts across. We sometimes talk about race too much. I'm an American. I happen to be black. I want my borders secure. I want crime fought aggressively. I want people held accountable. I want people to be treated fairly at the border, but at the same time, you shouldn't be able to come to the border and say, things are bad at home, let me in. These are things that should just be done. And I hope that Republicans and Democrats alike, and I would agree, my party has more responsibility at this moment because the president of the United States is a Democrat. I would hope we not only can answer the question of how many people we've let in, let's begin to act and act quickly, forcefully, and act smartly, which we're not doing right now.
This morning, Greg, on Newsroom, Fran Townsend, who used to be Homeland Security Advisor at the White House, she reminded everybody that Hezbollah has a pretty big foothold in South America, especially Venezuela. And we have 600,000 known gotaways this year alone, fiscal year 23, and 169 have been caught on the terror watch list. So the chances of a Hezbollah agent in the United States operating is probably pretty high.
Yes, but if you say that, then you run into the Skittles argument. Remember that? There could be one bad Skittle.
Yes.
We're learning you can't have everything, which is you can't have open borders and a bottomless safety net, because ultimately we become a third world country. And it's not because of people coming here from the third world. It's because all the money that is needed to take care of all of us will be spread so thin that it won't exist anymore. We will not have the basic services because we won't be able to handle everybody. This is where the American dream implodes. It used to be that you came here, you worked hard, you raised a family, and you made your fortune, whatever that is. Could be opening up a drugstore or whatever. Now it's come here and we give you the fortune, whether it's free hotel, free food, free health care, at the expense of people who've worked here for decades and worked hard for decades. So not only are we stealing from past achievers, we're also preventing new achievers from learning about this type of America. You know, the idea of work and reward. America is no longer the land of opportunity. It's the land of free stuff, paid for by the people who can now not afford eggs and gas. That can't last. Meanwhile, the hard left is creating a population that it loves, a dependent population dependent on the government teat, so they won't dare question that government when it increases the boil of its slow socialism.
Teat?
Teat?
Government teat.
Government teat. You like that?
I did.
Yeah. You can't say tit.
You just did.
No, I don't know. I'm not sure.
You just did.
Can you?
Well, you just did.
The producers have already checked out.
Yeah. Let's check out what you have to say about immigration and a caravan, another caravan.
Harold, you don't happen to be black. Your parents were black. They made love, and you had a beautiful baby. Be proud of yourself, Harold.
Believe me, I'm very proud of it.
Good. I'm not allowed to be proud. You could be proud. So
We can make you black.
1%. So do you remember before the run-up to the Ukraine war where U.S. intelligence said, hey, Russia, we see you guys amassing hundreds of thousands of men on the border of Ukraine. Mm-hmm. We have communications intercepts. We have satellite imagery. We see what you're doing. You're saying we don't see the whole Western Hemisphere coming up in caravans through Central America into Mexico, right into Texas? Dana, of course we see it. We see exactly what they're doing, and we don't do anything about it. We had a former CIA guy come on primetime the other day, and he said the CIA makes money on the side with drug trafficking. It's like a side hustle because their funding isn't big enough. So they do some, black ops in order to boost their budget and hide it from congressional oversight and then use it for dirty stuff. So that's what they're doing with the drug trafficking. And one of many reasons Donald Trump was defeated was because the CIA had it with this guy because he was threatening the cash flow, that and the China tariffs, among many other things. So when you threaten the donor money and you threaten the Democrat voters and you threaten the CIA cash flow, it's a problem. Joe Biden is such an agreeable, empty suit. He's just letting it all happen.
Wait, you saying the CIA is funding itself by the drug trade?
Yeah, they take a cut. That's what the former CIA guy told me.
Those black guys may not want you after that.
All right, coming up, if you dare challenge President Biden, his allies will accuse you of racism.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.